Structure is very compelling. I think I understand that. The housing, the quality and the equity of housing, making sure that we have safe housing for everybody, and knowing that the structures are old in this community. You know, and so wanting to repair them, those things make sense to me. And I think I get the education concern, but tell me a little bit more about that. How is education into this mix of issues for first suburbs?
Well, it's really simple. As you are probably aware, municipalities and school districts are linked. If the school district is doing well, then the municipality's doing well, and vice versa. And where school districts are struggling, the municipality is going to be struggling. School district, you know, the quality of the schools is probably the primary issue that attracts new residents. You know, they want to know that their children are going to go to a good school. So it's incumbent upon municipalities to have an interest in what's happening at the school district. At the same time, what we've seen in these older communities is that they struggle to provide the resources they need for their children. The tax base is not there. And so in places like Norristown, Pottstown, the residents are heavily taxed to provide a good education. And unfortunately, as you keep taxing and taxing the same limited tax base and the tax rate goes up, you become less competitive. So people will look at what the tax rate is in Norristown as opposed to, say, Upper Merion, and they'll say, you know what, I think maybe we'll move to Upper Merion instead of West Norton or East Norton or Norristown, because the taxes are so much lower. So what we've been urging is that the state get involved, and they have in the last several years gotten involved in funding these lower income school districts more than the upper income school districts.
So that it's not so much of a burden to the local taxpayers. And so when we have a burden to local taxpayers for education services, which, you know, are central to our continuation as a community, and then we're looking at possibly higher taxes for infrastructure issues and for housing concerns, it really is a way too high of a burden for the local residents, and there's more bailing out. Whereas if we can come together, I think what you're suggesting is if our municipalities and townships can be working together, that would make some sense, because we can be impacting the whole region and balance that out.
The high tax rate in these older communities is just unsustainable. Norristown has the third highest combined real estate tax rate in the county. Pottstown is number 2, and Cheltenham's number 1. And the highest taxes in the region are actually in Delaware County, in places like the William Penn School District, where their taxes are out of sight, and so is Chester City. And you can't keep going to the local taxpayers to fund things, because it just becomes unsustainable.
Well, it's beyond our means. I have to wrap up our conversation. I'm so disappointed because this is interesting. Let me just ask you one quick, a quick response about how citizens might be involved.
Well, what we'd like to do is get as many citizens involved as we can in the First Suburbs organization through through organizations that citizens are a part of. So if somebody's a member of a church, or a civic organization, or a local government, or a school district, what we want is to have you as an institutional member. Not necessarily you as an individual, but what we want is the organization that you represent.
So the organization, and then the people power from the individuals.
People power, that's right.
All right, that's wonderful. Thanks so much for taking time to be with us
Appreciate
today.
it.
Good.